I'd like to call the Midland County Board of Commissioners meeting to order September 3rd, 2019 at 9 a.m. And would you call roll, please?
Commissioner Snyder.
Here.
Glazer.
Here.
Terwilliger.
Here.
Geisler.
Here.
Dorian.
Here.
Nosen.
Here.
Chairman Bone.
Here.
7 present, 0 absent.
Commissioner Terwilliger, will you lead us in the invocation and pledge, please?
Lord, you have entrusted us as stewards of our great community. Please guide our hearts as we make decisions today. We seek you first in all we do. May we always be mindful of our guiding principle of service to Midland County. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next is the approval of the minutes for August 20th, 2019.
Mr. Chairman, I recommend we approve the minutes.
Do we have support? Support. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, the same. Okay, we will approve the minutes for August 20th, 2019, and move on to our special program of the day. We have the Midland Business Alliance's mid-year update with Tony Stamas and Becky Church. Thank you guys for coming.
Well, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Commissioners, it's great to be with you. We appreciate the opportunity. I think earlier in the year we came and Becky and I gave an update, and we just said we promised we'd come back, and we're honored to work for economic development on behalf of Midland County. We take that responsibility seriously to work on your behalf, to work on behalf of all of your constituents. And so we just wanted to kind of give you a quick update. We know you've got a busy agenda, but just to touch on some things that are happening. Becky passed around an economic development update, so you can see a lot of things that are going on. Earlier in this year, we've worked with Bridget for a number of years and put together an employee count. Now, we usually do that at the beginning of the year, but obviously with the spins, we waited a little bit longer, and so hopefully you all saw that. That was very informative. Mid-Michigan Health was now the largest at 4,400, Dow at 4,000, and then we had DuPont at 1,200, and Corteva at 800. And so it was kind of interesting how we see our community change, and with that, the formal iPark was kicked off this year. We see real opportunity to help grow with some of these partners, and so we're working closely with them. Legacy companies that are here, and Becky's going to talk about Savant, and there was some exciting news with respect to them. Exalt, I think, is on some solid footing, and they're doing some exciting things. And on the flip, we have Quad Graphics. In the print industry, not surprising. We've been working with them, met with them earlier in the year. They said that there was more consolidation forthcoming. We'd hoped it would be here. Unfortunately, it wasn't. They're headquartered out of Wisconsin, so we've been very active working with them and with their employees. Right away, we heard from a lot of businesses here, we need people. That's what we hear regularly as we go around. That's the people's business' number one issue is finding talent. So we're really working hard to connect them, we want to keep them here in the community, find a good position and help the businesses that are here in town. So that's taken a lot. Trying to keep bringing information. We had the state director for licensing and regulatory come in, talked about the upcoming marijuana issue. We're going to have the state treasurer coming up later in the year, just trying to keep our community, all of our stakeholders investing in economic development informed about what's happening at a state level. Retail continues to be an interesting challenge, kind of across the country and across the world. We saw the announcement with Kmart this weekend. Disappointing, but not surprising. But then, we're trying to see, where are some other opportunities for growth? We still are using a tool called Buxton that I think we've talked about in the past. Use that, and one of the places we'd reached out was Panda Express. And so, they're obviously building. So we see some areas that are growing, other areas that are still challenged, but not reflective particularly to Midland. We see that all around, whether you go to a mall in Traverse City or you go to, I think there's only going to be 3 Kmarts left in the state, this is the state they were founded in. But like I said, on the flip side, we see a lot of exciting news. We see a lot of growth and opportunities. And so we're really pleased to be working with all of you. We're going to continue to do that. And I'm going to let Becky talk on a couple specific projects that we've been focused on.
As Tony referred to, there's a paper in front of you. It's just a benchmark of some of our highlights that we've worked on. And I want to disclose up front that there's a lot that we work on. It's confidential until it's actually public, so I can't in this public forum talk about some of the companies that we work with. But I wanted to start off at the top. You see Multus Builders. They actually purchased 7 properties from us, and that property was donated to us through Dow Chemical at the time. They were rerouting Saginaw Road. That property we could not develop as industrial property because of where it's located in the residential. So Multus was a perfect fit for it. They're either going to choose to put up their headquarters there, or they're actually going to build more that fit that area. But that was a big win in January for the community, that property wasn't sitting vacant. In February, we met with Exalt, and they announced to us that they were hiring 20 people. And we were very excited because we all know what has happened the last couple of years with Exalt. So to hear that come out, that was pretty exciting. But in talking with Exalt just last week, tomorrow they're actually holding a job fair on their facility, and they want the world to know that they are strong, they are growing, and their contracts are growing. So that's all public information, and it's another sign that our companies are growing here and trying to get a talent, especially when they're holding them at their own location and it's not a community-wide job fair. So a lot going on throughout the summer. We've been working, so we can read through that. But if you flip it over and into August, as Tony stated, Quad Graphics. It was sad to hear that they weren't able to expand here, but what we acted on pretty quickly from the time we got the notice to today, we're still working with them. As we worked with Michigan Works, we partnered with their emergency team. We partnered with Quad Graphics emergency team, and we came together and put things on location for them. So unemployment, resume, job assistance, trying to help people get back in there, because a lot of people don't realize, but their talent has been in there between 10 to 25 years. So they've been set here in Midland, and they don't want to move. Our job fair, we were able to rally in pretty quickly all the people within Region 5 that were looking for talent. We had a list of 40 that reached out between us and to Quad Graphics that were looking at talent. And through the doors for one day only, we had over 180 Quad Graphic employees come through, and a lot of them were placed. They were placed right here in Midland. We are working now to have another job fair with Quad Graphics on their location. The plant does close September 10th. Production stops. The building will be open because it goes through a shutdown. But we're actually going to hold a couple more, at least one large one, in their facility and have the rest of the employees come. So the good thing is that we have talent, and we will be able to market the building very well for our community. Out of the buyouts, only 10 of them left Midland. They had a choice to go to a different location, but this talent pool chose to stay here, and so we have to do what we can do to place them and their families and keep their livelihood going. In August, too, we had a big announcement with Savant. We've worked with Rebecca Cox for a couple of years on her expansion, and this is the third actually at her location, but now she's actually building a 53,000 square foot facility, and it's a $10 million investment. And she's going to draw in about 70 new employment on her existing employment count. So that'll be happening. The ground has been broke, and we'll see that building open up next year. The last thing that I want to touch on when it comes to economic development is a partnership that took the entire county. There's a lot of people that worked with us on this, but it's a huge undertaking that is very viable and it's a need that we need in our community, and that's connectivity to broadband. We worked very closely with Bridget and Chris, and we came together, and I am not an IT person, but I was pretty impressed how fast we could execute applying for a $5 million grant. It was the County of Midland, it was MidCon, our IT provider, Andy Kobisa, he's the supervisor for Hope Township, and our MBA team came together with a consultant and put this together. We then had to execute pretty rapidly to people here, Commissioner Bone, Commissioner Snyder, township supervisors, and then we actually, Congressman Molinar got involved with us. So it was a big chunk, and then we decided that we were going to narrow it down and do a pilot for just 3 townships. That in itself, we sent out a survey to 3,400 people asking what is your baseline, or where are you at with your connectivity? We received 800 responses. That's both by a card and by online survey. So that right there knows that we all know talent is an issue. The second thing on the list is connectivity for our students, because all of them carry a Chromebook in the county of Midland from kindergarten on up. And so this survey, we are keeping our fingers crossed. I don't know if that's a political thing I should say, but it created a baseline for us. And so now our next steps will be bringing a team together to look at the entire county of Midland, because not just one group of it can do it alone, because it is a huge need for the county, and it's going to take lots of partnership. So with that, I just want to say thank you for all of the support. I know we've touched on a couple of different commissioners throughout the last 6 months for help and assistance, and especially the county, Bridget and Chris coming together. I mean, this was rapid fire, and Bridget put a big charge on us, but it is a need, and we are going to continue to keep this project on our top 5 that we're working on. So with that, are there any questions for Tony or I?
Any questions? Thank you all for,
Good stuff.
thank you for both being here, and hopefully this broadband thing goes through. It's really important.
When will we know about the grant itself?
I do not know that date.
I don't remember. I don't remember if the application said that what the award date was. And I'll just say that Becky and Tony and their team have been amazing. When she said rapid fire, this was a really quick turnaround time. We don't have a shovel-ready project. We probably aren't, if we're honest, going to get the grant. But if nothing else, we will have a benchmark of the areas that we need to have more information or more data or pull together more stakeholders if we can apply again. We knew it was going to be a tough sell when we started down this path. I mean, we started in June, and it was due the end of August. So.
Is there anything Matt could do for you?
I don't think so, but we did get another letter of support from the Community Foundation also. You know, they're very interested. I talked to the Community Foundation Board last Monday about this project, and it's one of the things that we have going on. And as Becky said, how important it is to everyone in this community. It's not just about access, it's about affordable access. So there are a lot of hurdles that we need to try and jump through, but I think if there's any community that can do it, it's this one. So, you know, I just think that we're just gonna have even more, we're just sharpening our skills and filling our toolbox with more data and skills by working together and pulling more people in. So.
And there are other grants, USDA rural development, and so we're gonna keep looking, but I think this, like Bridget said, gives us a baseline, and then we can build off that, so.
Michigan Infrastructure Council is adding broadband as a key infrastructure need. I mean, obviously they do roads, and I'm on the water council, but broadband and connectivity is key.
Well, I think when we met with Molinar, he even mentioned that in the last year, maybe 2 years, there's been funding in the Farm Bill too for these kinds of projects. So it's really about making sure that we have someone who can be dedicated to help planning and helping stage this whole thing. Yeah.
Timing is everything.
Right.
If there's anything that we can do out in our areas, please let us know, because I think all of us are pretty connected to our constituents and those leaders and the supervisors, and they connect at a broader level than we do. So we'd be glad to help in whatever way, and we might be able to just keep us in mind.
Yes, we will. The township supervisors were responding and talking and really opened up the dialogue of the need. And it was interesting of how many were actually working on their own townships, trying to get broadband in their own townships.
It's an uphill battle.
Yep, it is an uphill battle, but if we all come together and work on it together, it's powerful then. And that will make the success. that
Just
we need.
patience. I think it's going to happen. It's just going to take few, there'll be some snags in the road, but
Where's that?
Well, thank you all for coming.
thank you.
Becky, Tony, thank you guys very much. Okay, now we're going to move on to public comment. Is there any public comment today on anything that is not on the agenda? Seeing no public comment, we'll move on to our standing committee reports. Ann, would you read report number 1, please?
Dated August 30th, properly addressed, ladies and gentlemen, we, your Administration Operations Committee, have reviewed the request to join several neighboring counties in the Tri-County Regional Planning 2020 Orthoimagery Project. The TCRP has completed their RFP process, and joining the projects allows the county to benefit from the work already done, as well as a cost savings from what has been budgeted for the project. Therefore, we recommend approval of the request to waive County Policy 303.2 regarding the selection of consultants for professional services and accept the process completed by Tri-County Regional Planning. Respectfully submitted, James Geisler, Chairperson, Scott Nosen, Eric Dorian, Administration and Operations Committee.
Commissioner Geisler.
Mr. Chairman, the A&O Committee recommends the adoption of Agenda Item 77-8-19.
Is there any public comment on this item? Is there any commissioner discussion?
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
I would like Chris to come up if he would and give us a little,
Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Chris. Thanks for your time. This letter is basically asking to waive the RFP process to select a vendor for the orthoimagery project for next year. Tri-County Regional Planning out of Lansing has already gone through the RFP process. They had 6 bids come in. They selected Kuchera back in June or July. We were just starting to ramp up our RFP process and get started with Saginaw, Isabella, Bay, Gratiot, and us. When they reached out to us and said, we've already done it, you're welcome to join our project. So we went down, we met with the vendor that they selected, which is Kuchera, who we've used the last 3 times in the previous flights here in Midland. And we're happy with the evaluation they went through. So we're asking to waive the RFP process. And then I will bring a contract back to you guys later this month, early in October, for adoption at that point. But right now, it's just simply to waive the process for the RFP.
Great. Thanks, Chris.
thanks, Chris.
Any commissioner discussion? Ann, call roll, please.
Commissioner Twilliger.
Yes.
Geisler.
Yes.
Dorian.
Yes.
Nosen.
Yes.
Snyder.
Yes.
Glazer.
Yes.
Chairman Bone.
Yes.
7 yes, 0 no, motion carries.
Committee report number 2, please.
Dated August 30th, properly addressed, ladies and gentlemen, we, your Administration and Operations Committee, recommend approval of Section 5311 grant agreement with the Michigan Department of Transportation for a term of 3 years. The grant award of $78,244 will be passed through to County Connection for the replacement of 1 bus less than 30 feet in length. Respectfully submitted, James Geisler, Chairperson, Scott Nosen, Eric Dorian, Administration and Operations Committee.
Commissioner Geisler.
Mr. Chairman, the A&O Committee recommends the adoption of Agenda Item 78-8-19.
Do we have any public comment on this item? Do we have any commissioner discussion? Ann, call roll, please.
Commissioner Geisler.
Yes.
Dorian.
Yes.
Nosen.
Yes.
Snyder.
Yes.
Glazer.
Yes.
Terwilliger.
Yes.
Chairman Bone.
Yes.
7 yes, 0 no, motion carries.
Committee report number 3, please.
Dated August 30th, properly addressed, ladies and gentlemen, we, your Administration Operations Committee, recommend approval of Section 5311 grant agreement with the Michigan Department of Transportation with a term from July 30th, 2019 through July 20th, 2022. The grant award of $64,000 will be passed through to County Connection for floor, ceiling, and parking lot construction. Respectfully submitted, James Geisler, Chairperson, Scott Nosen, Eric Dorian, Administration Operations Committee.
Commissioner Geisler.
Mr. Chairman, the A&O Committee recommends adoption of Agenda Item 79-8-19.
Do we have any public comment on this item? Commissioner discussion? Yes, Commissioner Glazer.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I was not at the A&O Committee on this particular item. $50,000 of this grant is from the Federal Department of Transportation. Yeah, the nature of our federal debt is a key issue for me. And, I know that this is a worthwhile endeavor. I fully support the county connection. I will not be able to support this particular motion.
Thank you, Commissioner Glazer. Any other commissioner discussion? Ann, call roll, please.
Commissioner Dorian?
Yes.
Nelson?
Yes.
Snyder?
No.
Glazer?
No.
Terwilliger?
Yes.
Geisler?
Yes.
Chairman Bone?
Yes.
5 yes, 2 no, motion carries.
That is it for our standing committee reports. A slow day today. We have no RPCs, no old business, no new business that I'm aware of.
That is correct.
We will then move on to commissioner comments, and let's start with Commissioner Geisler.
No comment today.
Commissioner Dorian.
With the new school year about to start, I'd just like to thank the voters for Midland County for passing the SROs so we can get deputies in those out county and the middle schools. And to remind people to slow your speed down as you go down Rod past Central Elementary.
Everywhere.
Exactly. Okay, Commissioner Nelson.
No comment.
Commissioner Snyder.
No comment.
Commissioner Glazer.
I guess I would second Eric's remark about school resource officers. I know that our Bullock Creek area is very excited to have their deputy on board. I saw the press release that was forwarded. I thought that was very nice. I'd also like to express thanks for the Economic Development Corporation and all the work that they've done. That's exciting to hear. So it's good news, and I know people, the folks who are out of work, really appreciate the effort they're putting forward to help make that connection to keep those folks home. So thank you.
Commissioner Twilliger.
Yeah, excited for the kids to get back to school, and I did want to mention that I really enjoyed the tour of the farmer's market last week, and that was specific to that topic. Learned a lot, questions that I had, and that I think that were similar to many of us. So I was glad to have had that opportunity, and I appreciate the relationship that the MBA has with our county officials and the ongoing dialogue and transparency in as much as they can. And things aren't perfect, but I think that they're spot on. They are, those holes in the dike, they're plugging them as fast as they can. And I think that all things said, things are about as good as they can be. I think that they're really a big asset for our community. Thank you.
Thank you. I'd just like to say I'm excited about this broadband project. I hope it works. I hope we get the grant. And I mean, there's a lot of kids that can't go home and get on the internet to do their homework, and I just really think it'd be great if we could get it in this county. Nothing else to comment. Let's move to meeting schedule and start with Commissioner Geisler.
Next Tuesday at 9 o'clock, Executive Committee in this room. At 1:30, Finance Committee in the Fishbowl. And at 2:30, the A&O in the Fishbowl.
Thank you, Commissioner Geisler. Commissioner Dorian?
EMS Advisory Board is scheduled to meet tomorrow in this room at 3:45, and Human Services is scheduled to meet Monday, the 9th, at 2 o'clock in the first floor conference room. That's all I have.
Thank you. Commissioner Nosen?
Yes, I have a MAC Finance Committee meeting, which I'll be calling in from the road on Friday the 6th. I will not be here for Finance or Executive Committee next week. Jim's going to be leading Finance, and we've got replacements all set up for that. I have a MAC Environmental meeting in Lansing on the 13th at 10 a.m. And the Northern Michigan Association of Counties, or Counties Association, meets in Grayling on the 16th at 9:45. That's it.
Thank you. Commissioner Snyder?
I have Parks and Rec on September 4th, the Road Commission on September 5th, the MCTOA dinner on the 5th. Village of Sanford on the 9th, and the City of Coleman, Geneva Township, and Eatonville Township on the 10th. On the 11th, Wixom Lake Board, Jerome Township. And on the 16th, Warren Township. That's
Thank
it.
you. Commissioner Glazer?
Yes, tomorrow evening, 7 o'clock, here in this room, we'll have Parks and Recreation. Monday, the 9th, 2 o'clock, Human Services. At 7 o'clock, out at Lee Township with the Lee Township Board. So that's on Monday. Tuesday, the 10th, at 1:30, I'll be subbing for Scott on Finance. And then on Wednesday morning, 9 o'clock, that would be on the 11th, I'll be attending the Substance Use Priority Action Group here in Midland County, which is part of the Community Health Improvement Plan activities. That's all.
Commissioner Twilliger?
Yes, tomorrow morning at 9 a.m., I have another Pinecrest negotiations meeting. I did want to make mention that I plan to attend the Road Commission meeting briefly to thank them for taking leadership on the Bailey Bridge project and taking ownership of that so it can proceed forward. That project is in Ingersoll Township, and I would like to formally in person thank them for that. For the another meeting tentative meeting for Pinecrest negotiations on the 9th at 10 a.m. These meetings sometimes get canceled at the last meeting, so we do line up several of them. On the 12th, I have drug court followed by Pinecrest meeting after that, and on the 16th, I have senior services at 11 a.m. Thank you.
Thank you. And I actually only have one to announce. I have the MBS Airport Zoning Board meeting September 5th, 10 a.m. at the Midland Bay City Saginaw Airport. That is all I have for business today. Take a motion.
Move to adjourn.
Support.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, the same. This meeting is adjourned until Tuesday, September 10th, 2019 at 9 a.m. to meet in a regular session and for the committees to resume their duties. Thank you, everybody. Have a good day.